Hello, viewers! Welcome to Timeless Tale Stories. We share fairy tales from cultures all around the world, and we post new stories every day.
Hello, and welcome to Timeless Tales. Tonight's story is one of courage, hunger, fear, and the quiet strength that lives inside even the smallest hearts. Long ago, deep within a vast and whispering forest, there lived an old woodcutter and his wife. They had two children, a thoughtful boy named Hansel and his gentle younger sister, Gretel. Their home was a small wooden cottage hidden among tall trees whose branches seemed to touch the sky. Life had never been easy for them. Food was always scarce, and each winter felt longer than the last. But when a terrible famine swept across the land, even the little bread they once had disappeared. The cupboard grew empty, the fire burned low, and fear settled inside the cottage like a silent guest. One night, when the children lay awake listening to the wind outside, they heard their stepmother whispering to their father. "We cannot feed them," she said coldly. "If they stay, we will all starve. Tomorrow we must take them deep into the forest and leave them there." The woodcutter's voice trembled. "They are my children." "But hunger spares no one," she replied. Hansel felt his heart pound. He reached for Gretel's hand in the darkness. She was trembling. "Do not cry," Hansel whispered softly. "I will find a way." That night, while the moon glowed silver, Hansel slipped outside and filled his pockets with small white pebbles that sparkled in the moonlight. The next morning, their father told them they were going to gather wood. Hansel walked carefully, dropping the stones one by one along the path. They glowed faintly as they fell, like tiny stars resting on the forest floor. When they reached the deepest part of the forest, their father built a small fire and told them to wait while he searched for more wood. But he never returned. As darkness crept in, Gretel began to cry. The forest seemed alive with unfamiliar sounds. But Hansel stood up bravely. "Look," he said, "the moon is rising." And as the moonlight poured between the trees, the white stones shone like a silver path. Hand in hand, they followed them all the way home. Their father wept when he saw them. The stepmother said nothing. But hunger does not disappear with tears. Soon there was no food again, and once more the children were led into the forest. This time Hansel tried to gather stones, but the door had been locked. So instead, he broke the last piece of bread into crumbs and dropped them along the path. But the forest has its own creatures. Birds swooped down and ate every crumb. When night fell, there was no shining path to guide them home. They wandered for days. The trees grew thicker. Their stomachs ached. Their feet grew sore. Then, one morning, through the trees, they saw something unbelievable. A small house. Its walls were made of gingerbread, its windows framed with sugar. The roof glittered with frosting. The scent of sweetness drifted through the air. Gretel reached out and broke off a tiny piece. "It tastes real," she whispered. They began nibbling carefully, hunger overpowering caution. Then the door creaked open. An old woman stepped out. Her back was bent, her smile wide. "Oh, poor children," she crooned sweetly. "You must be starving. Come inside." They hesitated. Something felt strange, but hunger is powerful. Inside, the house was warm and filled with food. The old woman fed them generously and offered them soft beds. But that night, Hansel heard the door lock. The sweetness had been a trap. The old woman was no ordinary woman. She was a witch who lured children with sugar and devoured them. Hansel was locked inside a cage. Gretel was forced to work, cook, and clean. Each day, the witch fed Hansel, hoping to fatten him. "Show me your finger," she would demand, her poor eyesight failing her. But Hansel was clever. He would offer her a thin bone instead. The witch would pinch it and grow frustrated. "You are still too skinny," she would hiss. Weeks passed. Finally, the witch grew impatient. "Tomorrow," she declared, "I will cook you whether you are fat or not." The next day, she ordered Gretel to prepare the oven. "Climb inside and see if it is hot enough," the witch commanded. But Gretel shook her head innocently. "I do not know how." The witch grumbled and bent down to demonstrate. In that single moment, courage rose in Gretel like a flame. She pushed. The witch fell into the oven, and Gretel slammed the door shut. The spell of fear broke instantly. Hansel was freed. The house fell silent. Inside, they found chests filled with jewels, gold, and treasures the witch had stolen. They filled their pockets, not with greed, but with hope. After many days of wandering, they finally found their way home. Their father ran toward them with tears streaming down his face. The stepmother was gone. She had left long ago, unable to bear the guilt or the hardship. The cottage that once felt small now felt warm. With the treasure they brought back, hunger no longer haunted them. But more important than gold, they had brought back courage, trust, and love. And so Hansel and Gretel lived safely with their father, wiser than before, knowing that even in the darkest forest, courage can light the way. Because this story reminds us that fear may surround us, but courage lives within us. And when we face danger with bravery and quick thinking, even the smallest among us can overcome the greatest evil. Thank you for listening to Timeless Tales.